Hello everyone and welcome to the Safety and Compliance Center. This is Bilal Khan and here I will simplify NEBOSH IGC course for you. I'm very confident that by the end of this session you will have much better understanding of the topic if you will interact with the exercises given between the sessions. In this video we are going to discuss the various effects of the noise on our health, including both physical and psychological effects. We will also cover the important topics like noise exposure standards, effective noise control measures, and the role of hearing protection in keeping our ear safe. Let's dive into the lecture and learn how to protect ourselves in a noisy environment. Exposure to loud noise can have both temporary and permanent physical and psychological effects. In short term, individual may experience a temporary reduction in hearing, known as a temporary threshold shift, as well as ringing in the ears or temporary tinnitus. However, the long-term effect or due to the repeated exposure can lead to more serious and irreversible consequences such as permanent tinnitus and noise-induced hearing loss, which are also known as a permanent threshold shift. This can be severely affecting a person's ability to hear the important sounds like approaching the vehicles, safety warnings, or even everyday conversation. In addition to these physical effects, loud noise can also take a toll on mental health, contributing to increased stress level and difficulties with the concentration, which can impact overall well-being and the productivity of the company. Let's take a quick look at one of the most amazing part of our body, the human ear. Sound waves enter through the auditory canal and hit the eardrum, making it vibrate. These vibrations are passed on to the three tiny bones, the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup, which amplify the sound. Next, the vibrations travel into the cochlea, a spiral shaped structure filled with the fluid. Inside, tiny hair cells convert these vibrations into the electrical signals, and finally, the nerve fibers carry these signals to the brain, where we actually hear the sound. And don't forget the semicircular canals help us keep our balance too. Before we get into the effects and protection measures, let's quickly go over a few important sound related terms that will come up throughout this video. Sound pressure refer to the ear pressure of a sound waves moving through the ear and is measured in decibels, a unit which is used to express sound pressure level, or more simply how loud a sound feels. The frequency is the number of the pressure waves that pass a point in 1 second and helps define the pitch of a sound. You will also hear about the aweighting, which adjusts sound measurements to reflect how the human ear perceives loudness, and the C weighting, which is used for measuring the impulse or peak noise levels, such as sudden loud bangs. Understanding that these basics will help make the sense of the noise and standard and protection strategies we are about to discuss in this lecture. How loud is too loud? Let's look at some common sounds measured in decibels. At 0 decibels, we have the faintest, or the sounds which is barely noticeable to the human ear can detect. Around 20 to 30 decibels is quite as a library. A normal conversation falls between 50 to 60 decibels, and a loud radio is about 65 to 75 decibels. Power tools like drills can hit 90 to 100 decibels. And the extreme end, a jet aircraft, while takeoff just 25 meters away, it reaches about 140 decibels, loud enough to cause a pain and even ear damage. The degree of a harm caused by noise largely depends on two main factors: the noise level itself and the duration of the exposure. To evaluate these risks in the workplace, a noise assessment survey is carried out. This involves measuring both how loud the sound, the noise is, and how long the workers are exposed to it. The result can help estimate each worker's personal exposure to noise levels, which is then compared against the legal standards or the noise exposure limits. It is important to note that all measurements and assessment must be conducted by a competent person to ensure an accuracy and compliance with the safety regulations. The noise exposure standards vary from country to country, as there are currently no globally harmonized regulations. Each nation sets its own legal limits based on the local laws and the workplace safety guideline. In the UK, these standards are defined under the Control of Noise at Work Regulation 2005, which aligns with the broader EU directives and aimed at protecting workers from noise related health risks. These regulations help employers to determine when an action must be taken to reduce the noise exposure and protect the hearing ability of the workers. The personal noise exposure refers to the calculated amount of noise a worker is exposed to over a typical 8 hours work day, known as the daily personal noise exposure. In addition to this average exposure, it is important to measure exposure to sudden loud noise called the impulse noise, which are a short burst or peaks of the sounds. These peaks and sound pressures can cause immediate damage and are also closely monitored to ensure the worker's hearing is protected. The noise exposure standards include different levels to help protect the workers' hearing ability. The lower exposure action values are set at daily or weekly personal noise exposure of 80 decibels and a peak sound pressure of 135 decibels for impulse noise. When exposure reaches the upper action values, 85 decibels daily or weekly, and 137 decibels peak, employers must take a more urgent action to reduce the noise. The limit values represent the maximum legal exposure levels at 87 decibels for daily or weekly personal exposure or 140 decibels for peak noise. If the worker's noise exposure varies significantly day to day, the weekly exposure value can be used to assess the risk instead of daily measurement. When workers' daily or weekly personal noise exposure reaches the lower exposure action value of 80 decibels, certain important step must be taken. First, a thorough noise assessment should be conducted to evaluate the risk. Employers are also required to provide information, instruction, and training to ensure the workers understand the danger of noise exposure. Additionally, appropriate hearing protection must be taken to be available to the employees who might be affected, helping to reduce the risk of hearing damage. When the noise exposure reaches the upper exposure action value of 85 decibels, more stringent measures are required. A detailed noise assessment must be conducted, and employees are obligated to reduce the noise exposure using the engineering controls to make the noise level as low as reasonably practicable. If the noise level still exceed 85 decibels, a mandatory hearing protection zone must be established where the use of hearing protection is completely compulsory. Additionally, workers must receive ongoing information, instruction, and training about the risks, and the health surveillance should be provided to monitor and the early signs of hearing damage to the worker. The exposure limit value of 87 decibels represents the absolute maximum noise level that workers can be exposed to. If the noise level reach or exceed this limit, exposure must be immediately prevented and reduced below the exposure limit value. This ceiling is legally binding, meaning the employers must take all necessary steps to ensure the noise does not exceed this threshold to protect the workers' hearing ability. A noise survey found two work areas with high noise levels, the machine shop at 83 decibels and the woodworking area at 90 decibels throughout the shift. I would love to hear your response in the comment section to keep this session interactive and learn from each other. The noise travels from the source to the receiver in different ways. The direct path is the straight line that the sound waves take from the noise source directly to the listener's ear. The reflected noise path occurs when the sound waves bounce off surface like walls, ceilings, floors before reaching the receiver, which can sometimes increase the overall noise level. The source path refers to the initial way the noise leaves the source, including how the sound is generated and spread out through the environment. The controls to the noise, it is important to control at different points. First, reduce the noise at source by eliminating the noise entirely by substituting the noisy equipment with the quieter alternative, modifying the process, performing the regular maintenance of machineries, adding damp materials, or using the silencing devices. Next, to interrupt the noise pathway by using the insulations, isolating the noisy equipment, and absorbing the sound with the special materials to prevent it from reaching people. Finally, to protect the receivers by creating a quiet zone called acoustic havens and ensuring the workers use proper hearing protection like the earplugs and the earmuffs. Thank you very much for watching this video from the Safety and Compliance Center. If you have any question regarding this session, please drop your questions in the comment section below. I would love to answer that. This is your channel. Like it, subscribe it for more safety content. Stay safe, stay blessed, and goodbye.